Yeah, so thanks for joining me and doing it. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for reaching out. I'm so happy to do it.
Yeah, it's brilliant. So I did do a bit of research, but I don't know how accurate it will be because obviously I've got off the internet. So if anything's wrong, just tell me.
Okay.
I did read about it because your granddad is he Eddie Costa?
Yes,
Yeah, so that is right.
that is correct. Yeah.
That's great because he's quite big in the jazz scene, isn't he?
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. He was a jazz pianist and a vibraphone player in New York in the 1950s.
How was he? Did that sort of influence your path into music? All that then?
Cosmically, yes. He died very young. So he died when he was 32 and my dad was 2. So I never got to meet him or anything like that. But he's the only professional musician in the family, besides me now. But at the time, like I was so interested in music, and both of my parents are huge music supporters, but they don't really play. Like they'll dabble. My dad will play guitar and my mom will play a little bit of piano, but they're not professional musicians or anything. But just kind of having that influence there growing up, and the sort of magic of like, well, he did this, so it's possible in our family. And I was just, music was like a magnet for me, and my entire family was so encouraging of it because of that, because to kind of carry on the legend, and because he died so young. I think they wanted to see someone kind of continue on the path if it was at all possible. So
I mean,
even
it's
though
a
I
cool
never met
relative
him,
to have.
it feels like we've got this like, you knew what gig life was like. You
Was
knew.
it? Did you know from like a young age that was what you wanted to be then? Did you just want to be a musician from the get-go or
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if it was a want or if it was just like a default for what I was interested in. I mean, I did want to. By the time I hit kind of 12, 13, I was obsessed with country music. I was completely obsessed with the Chicks, formerly known as the Dixie Chicks,
yeah.
which is how I got into playing dobro, the slide guitar. So around then, absolutely. But I don't know. I mean, I was singing when I was really, really little. I was one of those, like, everywhere we went, I was singing in stores and stuff. And my mom, people would ask her, it's like, is that your child singing in the corner? She's like, yeah, 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 that's her.
I read that
So,
you played the slide guitar in bars when you were like 12 years old and stuff. Is that
yeah,
true?
12 was when I discovered the slide guitar.
And what was that like? What was it like playing in bars and things when you're at that age? Because it's got to be an experience.
Honestly, incredible. I'm sure it ruined me for the rest of my life because I still play slide guitar in bars and I'm 36 years old. So it just gave me a little taste of the life. No, I mean, truly, it was incredible because, like, I grew up in Michigan. So it's like a kind of small town. It's a college town called Ann Arbor, Michigan. And not a hub for country music exactly. There was one dobro for sale in the whole town. And so I had all my little savings. I had a wreath selling business for the holiday season. And I had like a little bank account, and I was like, I want to. My parents were sick of me like trying different instruments. So I was like, I took violin lessons. I was taking piano pedagogy lessons and all this stuff. And none of it was like super hitting for me. Like I'd do it, but I wasn't motivated to practice. I wasn't a very good student in that way. And I completely fell in love with the dobro. And by the time that had happened, they were like, no, like we're not buying you another instrument. Like we're done with this ADHD nightmare. And probably that helped me because I was super determined because of that. So I bought it with my own money and started playing it, and really just a lack of resources. Like no one else was playing dobro in town. So bands that wanted that sound were forced to hire a 12-year-old girl.
Quite unique as well, ain't it? For
Yeah, and
people doing
it
it
just, I
about.
mean, I could never have gotten a better on the job training than that. And everyone I played with was so sweet to me, so kind. They treated me like an equal. I don't know how they did it in hindsight, honestly. Like, they were 25 to 40 at the time, and they just
And
took
but
this
we're talking
12-year-old,
about
13-year-old, and they were like, they taught me so much. I mean, it was truly,
it's the
truly
best
love.
type of learn though, isn't it? I think when you're that age, you sing, you take it all in.
Yeah. And you learn the non-music side of it too. You learn the like how to talk to promoters, how to exist in bars, what a green room is. I mean, you kind of learn some of that, some of the culture of gigging that's not just music. To learn that so young was really cool too.
Yeah, that's quality. So I was listening to
Yeah.
your songs today. It's quite a little. nice blend of sort of Americana and country and rock you've got going in it. Like
Yeah.
what made you come to that sort of decision for that sound?
Oh, that's a great question. Some of it was just the nature of playing slide guitar in the first place. That definitely kind of lands you more in a country Americana pocket. Moving to Nashville for sure. So I had bounced around. I lived in LA for a while. Then I took a job in New York and I was in the city for a little bit. And I'd always loved Nashville, but I never actually lived here. And then I got hired for a band that was based about an hour north. And I met my current duo partner, who is Rachel Coates, and we have a project called King Margot.
Yeah, I was
So
listening to them again. I was listening to them as well today. You've had an
yeah, awesome.
album.
And
You've
that's
had
my
an
main
album with
gig,
them, haven't you?
honestly. That's what I'm doing the most. But I met her in this band and she was already living here. And I was just like, all right, this has gotta like we clicked immediately and I was just like, I gotta move to Nashville. Like it's long overdue. And so being here has definitely influenced that sound. I think I'm drawn to it because of the writing. I just love like story songs in general. Songs where you can pack a novel inside of a song, and that tends to be the Americana genre. I just love it. I
Is that
really
what
do.
inspires your songwriting? Is it like real things, or can you just sort of tell a story with a song?
Um, that's also a great question. I would say more often than not, it's not the stories are never real necessarily, not never, but rarely. They're usually fiction, the story itself, but it's always inspired by something
Yeah.
that's real or I've observed in the world. Not a big autobiographical writer the way some people are. For some reason, I've talked about this. So I work with another artist named Gabe Lee, who is wonderful. I don't know if you caught some of his stuff too. He's so awesome.
No, check him out though.
Yeah, he's great. Brilliant singer songwriter. And he said this on stage, and I feel the same way. It's almost harder the more personal it is, the harder it is to write about. And I don't think everyone feels that way. I think some people feel the complete opposite, where it's like it's so personal, they
Yeah, I
have to
always feel
write
like
about it.
being personal would make it a bit easier because you're
Yeah,
obviously the
yeah.
experience.
I don't know what that is. Probably something saved for therapy.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
find did you so you when you were in King Margot, did you write together and then
We we typically we have like a pipeline. That's kind of been our process. Is I'm usually the one who kind of instigates the idea, and I write alone. Usually, I have such a hard time co-writing. I do enjoy it, and I'm trying to do it more because I think it's really really good for you as a writer. But typically, it's like I can't even have thoughts around another person, you know. So I'm holed up somewhere, coming up with a song, and then I'll typically bring it to her and she'll refine it and she'll edit it and have notes, and she's so good at bringing like a very different perspective than I have. So I'm kind of
yeah.
like the chaotic instigator, and then she'll be like, okay, thank you for this pile, let's you know, let's shape it into something now.
Yeah. So it's good. It must be good to have ideas to bounce off each other.
Absolutely, yeah. And we were that way since day one. It was just a really compatible fit of like what we liked and what we were into and how we worked together. And she's very classically trained. So we have very different approaches to music in general, which has been helpful.
Yeah, that I was listening to that a long time ago before you call. That's a great song. Love
Thank
that.
you. So
Really
that's
good.
Gabe. That
Oh, is
Gabe
that
wrote that.
who's in
Yeah.
the song with you?
Yep.
Great
Yeah.
song. So was
Yeah.
the one I messaged you the other night, didn't I, about the song that I liked. Let it was the second one that's on Spotify on your list.
Yeah. Let you break my heart.
Yeah, let you I like that. It's a great song.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you
it's really
so
good.
much. Yeah, you caught me on my my little pop era. That was the other. It was a very much a genre change for me. I just wanted to make this project with a really good friend of mine, David Wimbish, who's also a great singer songwriter. And we holed up in his bedroom in February, year before last, and I was just like, I want to make a pop, like 4 pop songs. Like, please help me. I was like,
Do
I'm
you
tired of
think
Americana.
do you think you'll experiment with different genres, or are you going to try
Absolutely.
and stick? Oh yeah, what would be your main genre? Would you say country or
Probably Americana, which is
no?
such a catch-all. I mean, that term almost means nothing these
It
days,
covers
but
all
it still
bases,
is
doesn't
the most
it?
appropriate. Yeah, because it kind of it's always going to be country influenced. I have like I sing with a country accent, which I have no business doing because I'm from Michigan, but it just like it just comes out being in Nashville for so long. But what I love about Americana is that it's so accepting of pieces of other genres, which I think is really cool.
Touring and moving to Nashville helped shape your music even more as well, because Nashville's obviously a
Absolutely.
music city,
Yeah.
isn't it?
We're on the road a lot, like truly, and that's the thing I'm the most grateful for in my career is that we have a sustainable touring career. And that has just even just the ability to like have a song, have a new song and then go try it out for a couple of weeks, in different states and see which audiences connect or if it's connecting or what piece worked and what piece didn't work. And to be able to so quickly kind of road test everything has been really cool on a writing
Yeah.
front. And also, people are just so nice. People have been so incredibly kind to us, and it's really been astounding the way people have kind of welcomed us into different circles. And like we've been working in the Texas scene a little bit in the past year and a half or so, and that's a very insular, like you can have an entire career just in Texas. You don't ever have to leave the state if you kind of are in that world. And
Yeah.
they've been so kind and letting us creep in from Tennessee and give us a chance and let us open for them and stuff like that. So yeah.
Okay. Do you prefer touring solo or as with your group?
I will say I do not tour solo. That
Or do
is
you
a great
not?
question. I have never toured solo. Yeah. So that probably means I prefer it in a group.
Yeah. Do you think you do a solo tour?
I would just to for the experience. And I do travel solo. I love to travel solo. But usually for writing purposes, or I've been working on a novel, on a book for a very long time, so I like to get away and go somewhere new and kind of write alone. But
You've got a
I've
lot on
never
at the minute.
toured
You're doing a lot of
solo.
writing.
Yeah, yes, that's my curse. No, I
Who,
think it
who,
would be good because it's a real the people I know that tour solo. I'm so impressed with it. It is
yeah, it's got to be
truly
hard when you're on your own.
solitary, and to have that like to go from being so alone and then being on stage, that I think would be a really tough transition because when I'm in the shell, like there's no. Then you walk on stage and you're just like, why are you looking at me?
Yeah, you've got to have a different
Having the
mindset as
band and the
well.
band, and you're constantly, trying to one up each other with banter and like it's the
Yeah,
best.
at
I
least you've
love
got with
it.
a band, you've got each other supporting each other as well, haven't you? Like
Yeah,
with solo artists, you just got
absolutely.
to get in the zone. I think. I bet it's quite hard.
Yeah, absolutely. And they
Question
are
I'll have to ask
truly my
somebody
best
when I speak
friends.
to.
What's that?
It's a question I'll have to ask somebody when I speak to us, my next solo artist.
Yeah, I really would like to know, truly. And I'm sure everyone has a different answer because I know plenty of people are like, nah, I'd rather tour alone. But I don't know. It's not. They're my best friends, and that's like we're really lucky in that way. They say don't
Yeah,
work with your friends, but like definitely work with your friends.
yeah,
It's
definitely.
very magical.
Who's been sort of your biggest influences with your music?
Early on, Ben Folds.
Ben
I
Folds. I
love
used to love
Ben
Ben Folds.
Folds. Yeah, he was one of those, like, he was the first, when you're young and you kind of have that first person that you fall in love with, and you're just like, this makes sense to me. Like, this kind of writing makes sense to me. The energy that he brought to it, like, I was probably 16, and I just loved his, like, he was observational and he was detached and he was sarcastic but very smart, and then he put it all to this just like you couldn't help it, or at least I couldn't help but get sucked into the way. I mean, he's a brilliant musician. Like he's so good at what he does, and also there's such a, can we swear, are we allowed to swear on
Yeah,
this?
go for
There's such a fuck
it.
you attitude behind the way that he plays and the way
Yeah.
that he beating the shit out of a piano, and like it's so punk rock,
Yeah.
but he's a brilliant storyteller too. So that was probably when it really clicked, and like I just gotten my driver's license. So freedom, a little sweet taste of freedom, and I would just drive around the back roads of Michigan listening to him, and that's kind of when it clicked. I was like, oh, you can do this. Like people do this for a living.
Yeah.
So he was probably my first, like, I found this love. I mean, I really, really love all kinds of music. I mean, obviously my grandfather was a huge influence, so I listened to jazz when I was really young, and I
Yeah.
still deeply love jazz. I grew up singing in like a jazz ensemble kind of thing, so
Yeah.
that was a huge influence. I mean, getting into the country world now, people like Lori McKenna. Are you familiar with her?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I just think like writers like her are probably my biggest influence now. Where like again, it's the same like she's so personal but so detached at the same time to have that ability to like truly craft a story that kind of hits you. It bypasses all this other stuff and it just goes straight to you. It's like a knife to your heart, but it's crafted. It's not just like, well, you hurt me and I felt bad, and you know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
so she can say the same thing in so many brilliant ways and really touch on the core of like human emotion. I think she's absolutely brilliant.
Oh,
So writers
country
like
sound,
that now would probably be where I'm at.
country sound a bit of a sort of, I don't know, I can't say this word. It begins with an R, Renaissance or whatever it's called.
Yeah,
You know, when
yeah,
it's like popular
yeah.
again. Is that the right word? Yeah.
Renaissance,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's it. Yeah. I think I'm saying it. But it's sort of got popular again in it, country.
Yeah, absolutely. I know. It's been when I was in middle school, I didn't even tell anyone that I loved country. That's how
But
it
it's got really big over here again. Like
has
it's
it.
sometimes when I DJ things, it's all, I've always got to play loads of country music now. Like
That's awesome.
yeah,
Is
it's
it
the
more like
thing.
pop country kind of?
Yeah, sort of like your kind of Stapletons and
Yeah,
things
yeah,
like that. But like they're popular, so
yeah.
even Beyonce, like she got a bit of grief for her country stuff, but
You
I mean
did.
it got people interested in it. I think so.
Absolutely.
It's got to
I
be a good
know.
thing.
It's like everyone's going into their country era, which I think is really cool. I don't have a problem with that at all. I think it's awesome.
No, I like a bit of country. It's good.
Yeah.
Who do you dream to work with? If you could work with somebody, who is it? Who did the dream collaboration be?
Oh man. As for King Margot, this is my immediate gut instinct is do you know the band Lucius?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Like to just kind of even be in the orbit of such a powerful female duo that's kind of like, I mean, there's no one better to me doing that kind of thing. They're so good and they're so creative. I love their production. I mean, their vocals are out of this world. Like I think that would be a really cool pairing to kind of have this female duo. Now it would be hard to open for them if it was that kind of thing because you're
yeah.
like here's us and then here's them, but I think they would be my number one for King Margot is to work with Lucius. I'm trying to think for just like a solo collaboration. I really do like the pop world. I think that's for my solo stuff. I would love to get more experience in that
Yeah, go into that sort
scene
of
than the
genre.
scene I'm already in. Yeah. This isn't even an artist, but he's a producer. I don't even know how you pronounce his last name, but Dan Nagiro. I'm not sure how you
Yeah,
say it.
we'll go with
You
that.
know who I'm talking about? He works with
Yeah,
Olivia
yeah.
Rodrigo. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've always had like that. I think he would probably be my like who I would want to collaborate with. That would be my dream collab.
Oh, brilliant.
I just think he's so weird and interesting. I would be so curious what he would do with a batch of songs.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Yeah.
What's next for you? Have you got like an album, solo album, or more
I've
songs?
got so I just did a batch of solo songs. It's another batch of four. That's a very different vibe than the pop stuff that I've been releasing. Very stripped down acoustic, which is really cool. That's the other thing I've never done is just go in and kind of do it as live as possible alone. So that was a challenge. I love the collaborative nature of music, and honestly, it's my bread and butter. Like I don't really my solo career is to push myself to grow, really. So it's great because I have complete freedom and can kind of do whatever I want with it. So I was really feeling strongly of like, all right, I want to do the opposite now. I want to go in and just have it be very raw. Like a couple of the songs were one take vocals, and it's just like that's what we're gonna stick with. So that I'll release that sometime in the next year. King Margot has a single coming out this summer. Gabe, we're always on the road with Gabe. So yeah, that's pretty much no plans for a full album with anything. Yeah, they're expensive.
Yeah, yeah, that's brilliant.
Hopefully someday we'll make another one.
Well, that's it really. It was just like a little chat just to get to know you and your music and stuff.
So great. I love this.
Yeah, I totally appreciate it. Like it's
Yeah, so thoughtful. Thank you so
yeah.
much for reaching out.